Every now and again when you're learning the guitar, you stumble across something new, a new idea, a new technique or something, and it kind of changes everything for you. It changes the way that you play, it changes the way that you see the fretboard and everything like that. And the funny thing is, it will be different for every person, what sticks and what doesn't. But today I want to show you something that stuck with me and took my playing from being kind of boring and ordinary and livening it up quite a bit and making it sound way more interesting. And the thing is, it's nothing special, it's nothing secret, it's not like a secret ingredient, I've not got a hack or anything like that. It's just taking something that's fairly simple to understand and applying it and getting some pretty amazing results. So let's dive right into it. I'm going to be in the key of A for this. And last week, if you remember, I made a video showing you how to sort of take your A minor pentatonic and using that scale and making it more interesting just by limiting ourselves to 4 notes from that scale. And I said just the middle 2 strings, 5, 7, 5, 7. So instead of, which is a lot, we just limited ourselves to, and then we sort of expanded it from there. So if you've not seen last week's lesson, go and check it out. It's pretty interesting. I'll link it in the description below. But we're going to kind of stay on this idea of how to make our playing more interesting. So as I said, we've got our scale. And the reason I picked that one is because it's so common, a lot of people know it. That's just your minor pentatonic. And just to recap, if you're not entirely sure, we're going 5-8 on the low E, 5-7 on the next 3 strings, and then 5-8, 5-8 on your last 2. So all we're going to do is expand it a little bit. We're going to add some interesting notes, and I'll tell you where we're going to get those from in a second. But first, let me just play about with that minor pentatonic scale and kind of demonstrate how my playing used to sound and potentially how your playing currently sounds if you've never really stepped outside of that little safety net of that little scale there. You get the idea. It sounds pretty cool. There's an awful lot that you can do, and that's what I was talking about last week, how to get more from that minor pentatonic scale. But what I want to do now is add a few more notes to just give it a bit more character, a little bit more colour, and make it sound a little bit more interesting. As I said, I'm going to tell you where we get those notes from. And where those notes come from is the major pentatonic scale. That's right. That's all we're going to do. We're going to add some major pentatonic notes to our minor pentatonic scale. Because if we're in the key of A and we have our minor pentatonic scale, we've got the major pentatonic scale as well. So it's 5-7 on the low E, 4-7 on the next 2 strings, so on the A and D. So 5-7, 4-7, 4-7, and then 4-6, and then 5-7, 5-7 on the top. So that is right next to. So all we're going to do is steal some of those notes. Not all of them. You can use all of them. You can kind of combine both of those scales at once and try and come up with phrases that aren't just one or the other, but they're both. The best way I heard it explained was by Daniel Donato, a really good guitar player, who basically said you want to take both of those scales. Imagine an Oreo biscuit or a cookie, and one half of it is the minor and the other half is the major, and someone's just pushed them together. That's how you should imagine your guitar playing, and it was quite revolutionary for me at the time of hearing that. Anyway, we're going to start with the top 2 strings, the B and E. So your minor pentatonic is 5-8 on both of those. So all we're going to do is we're going to add the 7 to both of those strings too. So instead of, we've also got, which is straight out of the major pentatonic scale. And now, what if you just stayed with that for a little bit and messed about with just those 2 strings, adding the 7 on the B and the E, and seeing what interesting phrases you can come up with? You might get something that sounds a bit more like this. Already sounding a little bit more interesting, and that's just 2 strings. So what about the next string, the 3rd string? So normally in your minor pentatonic you're on 5-7, in the key of A anyway. So let's add the 6, which is the major third of A. So that's C sharp. And that's the note that's going to make things really interesting. It's going to be so obvious that we're borrowing and flicking from the minor to the major and stuff like that. So normally we might have had something like this. And now we can do things like this. Such a powerful little thing to just literally hammer from 5 to 6 on the G, and then 7 on the D. As I said a minute ago, we just added the 7 to the B and E strings as well, so we're going to nick the 7 from the B string and add it to that little phrase that we've just gone through, and it sounds something like this. So this is what it was, and now this is what it sounds like by adding the 7 on the B string as well. So all I was doing is playing the 7th fret on the B and G, and then the 5th fret on the B and G, but hammering onto that 6 there, and giving us that kind of thing. And if I just played about with those notes separately rather than adding them together in kind of like little chordy ways, here's what it sounds like now by just playing about with just those notes that I've added with the normal pentatonic notes. I get this kind of stuff. Way more interesting, and all I've done is add 7 on the B and E and 6 on the G. And we can go a step further than that. So I don't want this video to drag on too long. There's so much that we can add, but I'll show you one other little note that we can add, which is the blues note from the minor pentatonic. So if we take our normal minor pentatonic scale again, pentatonic means 5, there's 5 notes in that scale. We're going to add another one. We're going to add the blues note, which is known as the flat 5th, which in this case we're going to play the 6 on the A string and the 8 on the G, which is the same note in an octave. Mainly focusing on the 8 on the G, which if we actually just look at the G, then gives us 8, 7, 6, 5. We've got literally 4 notes right next to each other on that one string to sort of play about with there, and we can kind of do this sort of thing. It's also brilliant to slide from the 7 to 9 on the G, which is basically just kind of where this 5 is here on the B. Instead of moving to that 5 of our pentatonic scale, we're sliding to that same note. So we're still in our pentatonic scale, but we'll just kind of use a different sort of phrase. Back to the 7, and then slide up very quickly to that 8, which sounds odd by itself. Because that 8 being a borrowed note, it's not in the key, but it sounds brilliant when you use it, you know, in the right places. But then you slide back to 7, like that, and finish off your phrase. You know, if you do it fast enough, you can't really tell that that note sounds really bad. So there you go, that's just a quick little introduction of some simple ideas that you can add to your minor pentatonic scale, which you're probably quite familiar with if you've started to kind of play about with lead guitar and stuff like that. So all we've done is add 4 notes technically to what we did. 4 notes, which is the 7 on the B and E, the 6 on the G, as well as the 8 on the G also. So the first 3 notes were major pentatonic notes, and the 8 is the blues note from the minor pentatonic. And then obviously if you've got this 8, you've got the low 8, sorry, 6 in this case, the low note there. Just kind of notes that you can kind of play about with and just try and take your playing to a different place if you've never really tried this before. I would love to talk about this a lot more, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to keep working on these kind of ideas and keep making these video lessons where we can kind of introduce new ideas here and there. So if you like this video, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Please leave me a comment anyway because it helps the videos with the algorithm. Don't forget to leave this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be making lots of more videos. But also guys, if anyone is interested in online guitar lessons with me, I'm going to leave my email address in the top of the description. So if you think I could help you with your guitar playing, maybe talking about this kind of stuff and seeing what we can do, get in touch. That would be awesome and hopefully we can sort something out. Anyway, that's it from me guys. Until next time, take it easy.